Welcome to the Dogish Podcast, the only podcast dedicated to the topics, events, and personalities impacting parents today. My name is Jasen Arias, owner of Forever USA. And with me, we have Miss Sylvia Wes, owner of Dog Up in This Bitch Dog Training. We've been talking already and getting going. I dare ask you how you're doing today.
Struggling. You paused on your own name. You're like, my name is.
Look. Okay, so check it out. So, we're Sylvia and I've decided that we're going to do a 6-month episode. We're just now 6 months in. Like we've crossed our 6-month line, and we thought that we should step back and reflect. And we had a meeting earlier this morning with something that we're going to get to talk to you about. I'm super excited about sharing that. But Sylvia is fired up. You're in your new home. I can tell, like talking to you over the last month, I can tell it has been, well, you told me, what did you hear a therapist say? Moving is
legitimately, okay, full disclosure, you guys, I cried about this with Jasen on a call last week when we were doing our emergency episode interview with Lori. I was literally still in my old apartment on the floor recording because that was the only space I had, and crying about moving. No, but legit, my therapist said that there are 3 major life events that you will go through as a human, and that is, by the way, full disclosure, everyone, I have a therapist. but it's like childbirth, divorce, and moving. Those are the ones.
I thought dying was one of them.
Oh yeah, a death, losing somebody.
Right. So childbirth.
Being born.
Yeah. Somebody dying.
Someone.
Yeah.
Or moving.
And moving.
Those are the ones that rattle your little chemical receptors the most. Yeah, I feel like I've been seeping cortisol into my body for 2 months.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Super tough.
I'm tired, but I'm here. I love our new house. It's amazing. I can't wait for the office to get set up. I'm currently in my living room, and my office is just a pile of still wrapped in plastic furniture. But I got to get that thing rocking and rolling so that we can get to work on our very important, exciting things. In the spirit of reflection, though, Jasen, I have a question for you.
What do you got? Can you fit it in before the 6-minute timer that we have?
100%.
Okay. What do you got?
4 minutes left. I'm going to need you to settle down this morning.
All right. Let's do this.
My question to you is, what is your favorite thing that you've learned doing this podcast?
It might be. I was thinking of this as we got ready for the show. It might be how incredibly humbled I've been about how little I know. I mean, crazy things. I remember hearing about you guys feeding duck feet to your dogs for the first time. And I was like, what do you mean? You just steal? Right?
With Tori Mystic.
Right. So I mean, there's
curtain.
So little factoids like that, all the way up to really understanding with the podcast that we had a couple weeks ago now, that'll have aired a couple weeks ago, with what's happening with the CDC, everything from small stuff up to worldly scales. It seems like every single week we would sit and talk to somebody, and there was something fairly significant that I had no idea about.
Has it changed the way that you approach being a dog dad? Have you applied any of the things you've learned?
I don't applied. Yes. We've changed feeding habits, and after our episode with Puppy Fresh, and we've changed, right. We've changed how we feed our dogs and kind of what we feed them, and tried to balance that. My awareness of traveling with dogs has changed. But as a dog dad, I've always led with caring for my fur kids to the best of my ability of what I know. And I think that should always be the bar. Like if we're like being judged by what we don't know isn't fair, because there's so much.
Yep.
And being judged on what we can do versus what we can't do. I think if we're just doing, and we talked a lot about this with Danielle Wagner, like just caring, like you just have to, like, as long as you genuinely care about your fur kids and your family, like that's my ultimate bar. Because not everybody, and this sounds really bad, and there's going to be some people that maybe this upsets, but not everybody can afford a $600 crate that can be completely buckled down and fastened to the floor of their car. And you're risking some unfortunate stuff happening. But would I say that you're just better off leaving them at home? You know, like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, it's circumstantial. Like, maybe I'm putting my foot in my mouth here for some of these things, but I mean, there are friends, there are family, and I'd rather know that somebody is spending a lot of time with them. Almost the same thing that we're going through with parenting with kids. Like, you can't be a helicopter mom and dad all the time. Otherwise, you're impacting the relationship that you have with them negatively. So trying to be ultimately perfect as a dog parent can kind of have negative repercussions too, I think, sometimes. Does that make sense?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a perfect dog mom. And on that note, we're gonna take a break. All right, we're back.
Okay, bring it back. So now that we found out that Sylvia is perfect and I am completely imperfect.
No.
It comes
Listen. I always just I think for me, what it comes down to is our guest from the Center for Pet Safety, Lindsay Wolko, said it the best, which is like, when you know better, you do better. You know,
Yes.
like the more you
That was
learn,
great.
then you know that you have options. It's like, and it's one thing to not know that the option existed. It's
Right.
another thing to know that the option exists and to actively choose to not take it or make a change. You know, what's blissfully ignorant. Yeah,
Sure.
right.
Yeah.
But like, once you know better, you can do better. It's like you changed your feeding habits for your dogs because
Right.
like, you learned better. And I think that that's something that I've loved about this podcast is like, I feel like my knowledge base has grown exponentially. And
I got to be honest, Sylvia, I can't believe how much you already know.
okay, to be fair though, I'm not just a dog mom. Like, I've lived, breathed, slept, eaten dog information and research for a decade. And my job as a dog trainer literally is to actively, continually educate myself. That's how I have to maintain my licensing.
Yeah, but like some of the stuff is just like you know, the fancy names for like dog diseases that I didn't even know exist. Like like you'll spit out some words, and I just want to like crawl back into my little hole of ignorance and be like, I have no, like, I don't know what that means, let alone could I repronounce it.
It's learned though, and like, I think I okay, if since this is our 6 month
Mhm.
month anniversary episode, I think the probably, if I'm having the most gratitude for this platform, it's like the opportunity to educate on a larger scale and
Mhm.
pet parents, even like yourself, the information. Like, it's so rewarding to me to like watch you learn things, even though like for me, I'm expounding upon information that I already know. For you, it's like you're discovering it for the first time. And I just find that so incredibly gratifying that like we have created this platform in this space where we can help pet parents be their ultimate best versions of themselves for their animals. Uh,
Totally.
and really revolutionizing this idea of being like, yes, you can be a pet parent. And like, we want to give you the tools to be that.
That's the other part. The validation has been really special, like really letting people know that this is, you are valuable. Your love is equal. Like all of that, those feelings that you have for your fur kids are real and appreciated and seen. Like if we can make people feel seen, then that's the ultimate reward for me.
And seriously, like the guests that we've had on, like all my dog moms, like Tori, Nicole from episode 2, when we had Megan Rose on, Danielle Wagner, like those ladies, I cannot tell you how confident interviewing those women has made me feel about just being a dog mom, like out and proud and being like,
Sure.
I feel totally fulfilled and satisfied as a dog mom. And like, that is for me. And feeling like okay with that decision has been totally encouraged by our amazing guests and their conviction for what they're doing in terms of like parenting in this new day and age. And I think that if any of our guests have gotten that out of this, then I feel like I've accomplished what I want to accomplish. And with that being said, I'm leaving the Dogish Podcast. I'm just kidding. Oh, Jason, your face. You look like you about had a heart attack.
Well, I know that would be a drastic change of direction compared to the other stuff that we have planned coming up.
Speaking of other stuff, can we just talk about the amazing people and partners that we've met and relationships that we've built with this? What, harkening back, who's your favorite new person that you've met doing this?
Favorite new person?
Someone that you didn't already know.
Oh, man.
No pressure. Everyone else is going to hate you for it. But.
There's been so many different this is, oh man, I don't know if I should say this. Okay, I'm gonna say it. You guys can hate me for it. So I'm a car guy, right? So if you ever look at my Instagram account, like I fix up my truck and I love cars, and we take and my kids will ask me like, hey dad, and I'm not trying to compare people. I am trying to compare people to cars, but not in a negative way.
Wait.
Okay, hold up. Let me finish. My boys will ask me, well, dad, what's your favorite car? And that's a very difficult question for me to answer because like Megan Rose was awesome because she literally led off our podcast. Like we had to put a F-bomb warning in there. And that's one personality type. And then we have Tori Mystic, who is like the sweetest person on the planet. And we end up talking about raw foods with her. The genuine nature of Danielle Wagner and the science and the nitty gritty, of some other, like, I really don't know that I can pick out just one guest that would be my favorite new one. And I know that sounds bad. And maybe that is a little bit like, so in the sporting world, we call that coach speak. Like you have certain phrases that you get by asking the reporter asks you a hard question and you got your phrase. And I get it, but there isn't, like, as far as a new people, like everybody has kind of a unique place that they've impacted. And I don't know that there's any of them that have impacted me. Like even Cindy Hartzell, like at this point, I think everybody on our fan base has figured out that I'm not into crystals and psychics and sitting and doing yoga.
Why you always gotta put the crystals at
right?
the front though? Like, what is your rub? Like, what did Christy do to you?
No, I love
like,
rocks.
What?
Rocks are awesome. But what I'm saying
about this conversation right now.
But like Cindy had a impact on me in having that conversation. Like I remember that very clearly, especially like the after conversation and talking about closing down the studio and trying to find ways of making decisions. To put any of those in a hierarchy of like, well, this one was the best and this one was the least would be borderline impossible for me to do, especially on the fly, like because they've all had a unique
Should
impact.
I send you prep questions?
No, we don't do prep questions.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Actually, I had another question for you and I just totally forgot it.
Do you have somebody that has uniquely
No, I
impacted you?
have a question. No. I remembered my question.
Okay.
I am notorious for crying on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Has there been an episode or an interview that has made you well up or get emotional?
Our conversation with Cindy Hartzell was difficult, trying to talk about just being a little bit more real on what it's like running a business and making difficult decisions and that after part. Some of the stuff that we talked with Lori from SPCAI, and hearing what dogs in other countries are going through. Like anytime I have to really put myself in the place of what animals are going through from a complete lack of the world caring, the world around them caring about them, like that's really difficult for me to like. I have a very good imagination, and I've got a lot of, is that empathy? I think that's what it is, when you can put yourself in other people's shoes. And so those two in particular have been tough. Like even when, like, yeah, we try to avoid those darker conversations on the podcast most of the time, so they're not there very often. But when we have talked about it with Lori, that was kind of a bummer. Hearing that. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes. So
I
what
can't
you're
think.
saying is you're a softy, you're just not as soft as me. Got it. So my goal within the next 6 months of this podcast is to get you to cry. I don't know who it's gonna be, but I'm gonna do it.
What about you? Has there been has there been something that's uniquely impacted you, whether it's a topic or a guest?
I mean, I think I already kind of said it, just in terms of like feeling totally liberated, just to say like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm a dog mom and that's my version of mom. Um I just we've had so many incredible conversations with so many people, and like I totally listen to all the episodes. I do every Tuesday. I listen when they come out, and I always hear something that like I didn't hear when we were doing the interview, that like
Sure.
gets me or shakes me or like catches me, and I'm like, whoa. um and I think that that's I think that's such a gift, that that I that I've given myself, which is weird, but there's this opportunity to like continually grow and change and learn and be a better dog mom every single day for my fur kids. I think is just man, it's really special. We're gonna take a quick break before I
Before
start
you
again.
start crying.
Jesus. Okay, we're back. So
Yep.
Jason and I have been cooking up some things over the last few months. Speaking of like going back and listening to episodes, there was an episode that we did, I believe it was like our third episode with
Yeah.
fifth episode. Was it really?
Yeah.
With Gina Knepp of Michelson Foundation. And we were chit-chatting about like pet ID, and I just remember that episode shattered my world. Like my mind was blown in
Right.
in that interview, and then listening back to it, my mind was blown even further, and I got super inspired, and I paused the episode and I called Jason on my way to work at like 8:30 in the morning, and And he's like, is everything okay? I'm like, we have to do something about these stray animals with no identification.
Well, she had thrown out that conversation came right after we talked to Dave from Barquet.
Mm.
And you, like, there was like two circuits that got plugged together in your brain. Like, I remember how excited you were about it. And Gina had talked to us about an idea of stray light savings,
Yeah.
which is trying to help people remember what to do. Like, because that one's, I still talk about that one a lot. Like, we're not expecting to lose our dogs or our cats. We're not like, we don't really think through that. But, what is the impact of, like, well, what if your chip hasn't been updated? Or what if your dog collar hasn't been updated? Or who do I call? Like, all these different things.
Your dog's collar gets caught on something and falls off. What if?
Right.
It's a lot of what ifs that, I don't really think about on a day-to-day
Not at
basis.
all.
I can tell you, since that interview, my dogs don't go anywhere without a dog tag or a collar.
Totally.
And which they didn't before, but like with our older dog, the collar used to bother her a lot. So we used to get a little lax and like letting her be collar free. Now that just like totally freaks me out. And I think since that episode, I've literally purchased like 10 dog tags. Like they have a dog tag for every collar. Like I went, because I don't want to worry about switching the dog tag over or forgetting if I buy them a new collar. So I just have dog tags for every collar that my dogs wear. There are many. Crazy dog mom lady. But yeah, I would say, like, talk about impact. Like that episode has fundamentally changed my outlook and my life, and has fundamentally changed the direction that we're taking our efforts, I think, with the podcast too. And just like,
well, but this is what's cool, right? So we have the ability to be able to connect things together. So then we were having a conversation with Dave over at Barquet, and he proposed, he's like, hey, you guys should come, you guys should do like a live podcast here. You guys should come do your first live podcast on the stage here. That would be really cool. And that was exciting to us. But it wasn't until about 24 hours later is when you called and you connected those two podcasts together.
Stop it. I have an idea. Mostly what it was is I really wanted an excuse to go to Kansas City and see Barquet. So I had to like build that.
Let's find a way.
I must find a way to get to Kansas City. I know, because I couldn't just fly there or anything.
So tell everybody what you came up with, because it's really cool.
Oh gosh, no pressure. Okay, so my genius plan.
Okay, and you're gonna have to keep it under half an hour.
Whatever. Okay, in all actuality, I just want to talk about the bones. Yep. I don't want to give away the whole basket because it's still in works. We're still in talks with like some incredible potential partners. We're so excited. We do have some solid things in place. We do know that we're going to be fundraising for an incredible organization, which is Haas, which, if you guys remember, we did interview Haas, which is the Human
Animals Support Services.
Yep. Which is basically just like revolutionizing the way in which we think about support for humans and animals, just in terms of like reimagining what shelter support looks like, reimagining what homeless support looks like, reimagining what, we think of when we think of like someone needing to give up their pet and the reasons behind that. Haas is here to help those people kind of bridge the gap, in turn, if it's temporary housing, if it's offering food, if it's medical care. Like, there are so many barriers and obstacles, I think, that pet parents from all socioeconomic backgrounds face in their journey of being a pet parent. And I think Haas is there to help fill in the gaps in just this totally radical way.
And can I just say, like, in particular, in reference to Haas, we are on the fringe beginnings of one of the largest default in home loans and people getting kicked out of their homes. Like that's a whole nother podcast and topic that we're not qualified to talk about, but it doesn't matter. Like people are going to be losing the places that they live, and Haas will have an integral part on helping keep families and their animals together while they are going through that. So if that is something that does tug at your heartstrings, definitely look up Haas, go back and listen to our podcast. I forget what episode it was, to learn about them, but they are trying to keep, because a lot of people have to give up their animals when they lose their homes because of whether it's financial or places that they can live or not live or all these different things. So we talk a lot about that. And that's what Haas is about, like trying to keep them together. So this event that Sylvia dreamed up is going to be benefiting Haas.
Yes. And really shining a light on the importance of pet identification and helping to support. So basically, this is going to be like an ongoing thing. We plan on doing this annually for many, many, many years to come. 2021 will be our kickoff inaugural year. We will be hanging out at Bar K. We do have a date. There's lots of very exciting things like happening that are coming to fruition, that are lining up. When I saw this coming together, I just imagined this as really like a community effort, which I think is so like on par with Haas and just the way that they look at care as more of like a community effort as opposed to just like one, they partner. I think right now they have over 350 rescues that they're partnering with nationwide. So, different tiers, tier 1, tier 2 rescues and shelters. And I think that like that really is the spirit of what we're trying to harness, not only with this event, but with this podcast and as a whole, which is like we as a community of pet parents are so much stronger. Our voices are so much louder, and we have such a bigger impact if we all help each other and bolster each other up, which I think was even further echoed in our emergency with Lori Califf last week when we talked about like just the rescue community gathering together in terms of like how we look at the CDC ban. So I just think that like community is where we're headed. And what we're trying to achieve with this event is basically just an opportunity to help communities of all backgrounds have pet identification, which is which I didn't realize, a huge crisis point for lost pets and pets that end up in shelter systems that do have homes, that do have families, and kind of.
So ultimately, this is going to be based around stray light savings. So like it conjoins. So daylight savings happens twice a year, and what we're going to try and start getting out there is make sure you know what to do. Get your information updated on your dog tags. Just have a general plan of what happens if your dog goes missing.
Just like an annual checkup on your emergency plan.
Just a reminder. Just think about it.
Think about it. That's our goal. So
we're partnering with Bar K, so they're going to host the event, and we are far enough along with the planning. It's going to tentatively it's going to be October 10th. So go ahead and block that weekend out. I saw you like hold up on that date, like you were going to keep it secret.
Not.
No. Okay. All right.
Date? No. I
mean, then
do like a big reveal, but whatever, Jason.
Yeah. Well, hey.
October 10th.
No.
Put it in your calendar.
Gina from Michelson Foundation is the other cornerstone to this. And we're bringing other people in.
We love her so much.
We're going to do a live panel. We're figuring out, but on the stage at Bar K, we're going to be hosting the podcast live is what our goal is. So that'll be exciting.
Epi. It's probably going to be a hot mess. We're not going to know what we're doing, but we'll figure it out.
Right. And then we're going to have tents, and we're going to try and cater those all around, making sure that people's dogs don't get lost.
We're hoping we can have a small adoption center there if you're local.
It's going to be awesome.
City. It's going to be super fun. It's going to be a really fun day of just like,
everybody will get to learn that I'm much more fun in person. I don't get overshadowed by my co-host all the time.
he's not.
I'm not that fun.
He's saying it. Take it with a grain of salt. On that note,
Another break?
taking another break.
Hit me. Welcome back from our little break. So we just got done talking about this event that we've got coming up in October in Kansas City at Bar K. So put that on the calendars. I think we spent enough time on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about it. It's out there. The people know.
Yeah. We'll keep releasing more on that soon. Where do you think this is going to go from here? Like,
I mean
6 months feels like it was so long ago, but I mean, it's not that long ago.
Talked to so many people. And you know what? I still have so much more that I want to know. And
Are you enjoying it? Be totally honest. Are you enjoying this?
I love the podcast. I love talking to our guests. I think we've got even more cool guests coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think Jasen and I sit down every week and we're like, cool, so who are we going to reach out to now? And like, there's just so much more out there to learn, to share. I still have so many questions. There are so many experts in this field. And I mean, I'm a dog nerd, so I could talk about dogs. Hold on. I do talk about dogs. I was looking in my car the other day. And because we just moved into this place and I don't park my car in the garage because our garage is right now storing half of our home. And like I have my dog up in this bitch magnet on one side, and then my training assistant just brought me back a magnet from Seattle that says I love dogs, it's people that annoy me. And I was just looking at my car and I'm like, I wonder what my neighbors must think about me. Like I am literally a dog person, like a crazy dog. But it doesn't feel that way right now because I only have my 2 dogs in the house, which is like a totally weird thing in my life. Don't, more puppies are coming on Tuesday. But yeah, it just I guess I'm really kind of, what this podcast has done, it is giving me full permission to just be the absolute crazy dog lady that I am. And
so that makes me a little like sad and happy at the same time, because I never knew that was something that maybe you were holding on to, like you didn't have that permission to be that person. So I'm super excited that's been that. I want to say cat let out of the bag, but we'll let the dog out of the bag. But
literally our friends were helping us move in, and I have a lot of like Doog product because was their brand rep here on the West Coast, and they're pet expert. But I have crates and crates of like leashes and collars and dog walking belts and things like that are like being unloaded from the moving truck. And my friend, she goes, so are you like she's like, she like looks around, she's so funny, she's like, I'm really getting like crazy cat lady vibes from you right now. I'm like, really? Is it the furniture choices? She's like, I'm joking. 10 boxes of leashes just got unloaded from the truck. And I was like, yeah, I'm a dog. Like,
that's right.
Never had doubts on whether or not I'm a dog person. Like, man. And honestly, like, I wouldn't have it any other way, I don't think. No, I know.
Dogs are awesome.
Any other way.
Animals are awesome.
They're the best. I wouldn't mind being a crazy cat lady either, but my husband is allergic. It's really putting a damper on my whole like.
Christy's been hinting at the cat thing. Christy's been hinting at the cat thing.
I'm just saying.
Christy likes our furniture a lot, though.
Yeah.
And
I've seen several companies that make like claw resistant fabric covers.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, we're good.
we're good.
We're good.
So, Jason,
Yeah.
closing thoughts
Closing thoughts on all of this.
on our 6-month anniversary. Well, are you enjoying it?
I
Are you
am.
are you still loving
There's
it?
there's more to it than I mean, not that I thought. I mean, I knew all there was, but I mean, there's definitely a lot to trying to keep the, the back end of everything going. And I'm not doing it by myself. By any means, um, we have somebody that's helping us create the YouTube stuff. We have somebody that's helping us get everything up on iTunes and Spotify. And you and I are trying to tackle social media and getting guests on and all of that kind of thing. And we haven't got into advertising yet, so there's no income from this or anything. Like, we're totally doing this and as a passion project and hoping that it turns and grows into something. But in the meantime, I mean, we're still moving houses and raising kids um, and getting through the COVID pandemic. I mean, that's one of the things that really launched this, right? Because we figured that
We finally had time.
we had to find new things to pivot on a little bit, with especially with the photography industry. I mean, that took a major hit going through COVID, and nobody was allowed to be around each other. But trying to figure all that out, and then we've got this going in, and you and I are classic personalities for, if we have 5 extra minutes in our day, we're gonna pick up something that takes 10 minutes to do.
An hour. Like, yeah, I could get that done.
Right. And we have, I don't think that we're perfectionists, but we like things to look as nice as possible and figure it. So I love the challenge, and I love the guests, and I love putting it all together. But it's been interesting adding that into the fold and pulling it together. And
Especially as the fold starts to unfold
right.
and life
It's,
to
it's,
resume.
it's growing and getting as big as I'd hoped. I don't like saying bigger than I thought it ever would be, because we both have high expectations. We didn't do this for this to be like a failing podcast. We want this to be like big and awesome. But I'm like, it's super exciting that we've already hit 23rd in the United States. And we're always in the top 50.
We love all of our listeners. You
How
guys,
cool is that?
literally, like, and I think that the thing is too, like, for me, I'll speak for myself, like, I never did this for the notoriety or the listens or the downloads. Like, this for me was literally always about getting out the best education, the best information to whoever wanted to listen to it. And I think that we've achieved that. Like, I really feel like the guests that we have on are just, they're blowing my mind. Like, the people we talk to, I never in a million years would have ever thought that I would have the honor to sit down and just chat with for an hour. And so, I mean, my mind is blown every day that we do this. And
It's fun.
damn, I'm getting emotional again. Spoiler alert, Sylvia's crying again. No, I just thank everyone who listens, like, truly, truly, from the bottom of my heart. Like, thank you for letting us know that we're like on the right path, and
Totally.
we're gonna keep this fire burning because for you guys and for ourselves.
I know. Well, 1 year is going to be right around the corner. We'll have to do something big for that.
Another live show, another event.
Right.
How many events can we plan in 1 year?
I think one is good. I think one is great.
We're making up for lost time. It's like 2 years with no events. All right. That's it. That's our time.
Good. We want to thank everybody for joining us. I don't have my stack of dog jokes. I've got one that I think will fill in though.
Get in there.
Are you ready?
Am I ever?
Okay. Hopefully
dog dad jokes.
Hopefully you can see the bridge here. All right, ready?
As I'll ever be.
What is brown and sticky? A stick. A stick.
I think that's just a dad joke.
It is, but I heard it, and we're here in Kentucky, and Luna has been playing with a stick in the yard and like chewing on it like the entire time we've been here. And my brother-in-law was complaining because he keeps running over him with a lawnmower because she takes him into the middle of the yard. So it reminded me what's brown and sticky. A stick.
Perfect. It's perfect. All right, everyone.
Thank you all for joining us. Make sure to hit subscribe or follow or all of those kind of things.
Also, show notes, check them out, because sooner than you think there will be information on our Straight Light Savings event on October 10th.
Yep.
Can't wait. If you can make it out, amazing. If you live in Kansas City, we better see you there. We're so excited to have all of you on this journey with us. It's been an incredible 6 months. I can't wait for many, 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 many more months to come.
Awesome. All right. See you around.
Okay, bye.
Bye, guys.